I thought I knew him. I thought I knew us. But standing there, phone trembling in my hand, I realized I didn't know anything at all. Ethan, I whispered, my voice cracking. The message on his phone glared at me like a neon sign. Can't wait to see you tonight. I love you. It wasn't meant for me. I knew it wasn't. Who's that? I demanded, spinning around to face him. Ethan looked up from his laptop, startled. What are you talking about? I held the phone out like a weapon. Don't play dumb. This message. From Clara. Who is she? He swallowed, and that little smile he always used to calm me faded. It's complicated. Complicated? Complicated as forgetting to buy milk. Complicated as missing a meeting. This is betrayal. My hand shook. You were with her? I didn't mean. He ran a hand through his hair. I never wanted you to find out like this. Never wanted me to find out? I laughed bitterly. Do you know what it feels like to see it? To feel your world crumble, while the person you trust smiles at you like nothing's wrong. I can explain, he said, but the words sounded hollow even to me. I shook my head, tears stinging my eyes. Explain? Explain how you've been lying to me for months? How you've been sneaking around pretending we were happy. I swear it's not what you think, Ethan insisted. It's just things happened. I never stopped caring about you. Never stopped caring? I echoed, voice breaking. Do you hear yourself? You call this caring? This disgusting betrayal. He took a step toward me. I love you. I just made a mistake. Can't we talk about it? Talk about it? I laughed again, more bitterly this time. We can talk about it when my trust isn't shattered, when my heart isn't bleeding, when I'm not seeing the person I loved in pieces because of you. Silence. His eyes darted around, searching for something. An escape, maybe. He started, but I cut him off. No. I can't do this anymore. I can't. I thought we had something real. I thought we were building a life together. But you threw it all away for her. He opened his mouth, but I didn't let him finish. I grabbed my bag, my hands trembling, tears spilling freely. I can't even look at you right now. Please just. No. I shouted, my voice shaking, cracking like glass. Just leave me alone. The door slammed behind me, and I felt the weight of the apartment lifting off my shoulders and crushing my chest all at once. Every step down the hall felt like walking through fire. I called Mia the moment I hit the street. Mia. I can't. My words broke into sobs. Breathe, okay? Just breathe. I'm coming, she said softly but firmly. Her voice was my lifeline. Don't go anywhere. I didn't even argue. I just leaned against the brick wall outside, trying to steady my ragged breath, trying to make sense of the betrayal that had turned my world upside down. My vision blurred. My chest ached. And yet, somewhere deep inside, a small spark whispered, "You'll survive this. You have to." I didn't know how yet. But I knew one thing: I couldn't go back. Not now. Not ever. The moment I stepped through the door of my childhood home, a wave of memories hit me: warmth, laughter, the safety I hadn't realized I missed. I dropped my bag with a thud and sank into the couch, burying my face in my hands. "Sweetheart." My grandmother's voice broke through my spiral. She appeared in the doorway, a soft smile on her face. "It's been a while since you looked so tired." "I'm fine," I croaked, but the lie tasted bitter. "You don't sound fine," she said, settling beside me. "Want to talk?" I shook my head, though my heart ached for someone to hear me. I can't believe he. "Ethan?" she prompted gently. I nodded, my chest tightening. "I trusted him, Gran. I thought we were happy." And then my voice broke. "I found out he was with someone else." "Oh, my darling." She pulled me into a hug, and I felt the sting of tears soaking through my shirt. "I'm so sorry. But you know, betrayal doesn't define you. It defines them." I sniffled, trying to hold back sobs. But what if it's my fault? What if I missed the signs? What if I wasn't enough? "You were more than enough," she said firmly. "Sometimes people's hearts are too small to appreciate what's right in front of them. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human." I closed my eyes, the weight of her words sinking in. I keep replaying everything, every laugh, every kiss. Did I imagine it all? Did I misread him? No, she whispered. Your heart isn't lying to you. You saw what was real. You just didn't see the lies hidden beneath it. I bit my lip, staring at the floor. I feel so empty, like a part of me is gone, and I don't know if I'll ever get it back. You will, she said, her hand squeezing mine. Pain teaches us strength, even when it feels unbearable. You'll rebuild. You'll find yourself again. Her words were soft but steady, and somewhere in the pit of despair, a small spark flickered. Maybe I can survive this, I thought. Maybe I don't have to stay broken forever. I wiped my tears and forced a small laugh. You always know what to say, don't you? Not always, she admitted. But I know that you're stronger than you think. You just need to give yourself permission to rise. I nodded slowly, letting her wisdom sink in. The thought of reclaiming control over my life, of stepping out of the shadows of betrayal, felt terrifying but alive. Just as I was gathering myself, a faint sound at the door caught my attention. I got up and found a small envelope tucked under the welcome mat. My name was written in bold, unfamiliar handwriting. I picked it up, heart thudding. What is this? I muttered to myself. I tore it open. Inside was a single sheet of paper. If you're ready to start over, come to 14 Rosewood Lane at midnight. A new path awaits you. I froze. Midnight? A new path? My mind raced. Who would send this? And why me? Gran, I whispered, clutching the letter. Something's happening. I don't know if it's a chance or a trap. She studied me quietly, her eyes filled with a mixture of concern and pride. Sometimes the universe gives us doors we never expected. Maybe this one is meant for you. Just trust your instincts. I tucked the letter into my pocket, a strange mix of fear and excitement surging through me. For the first time in days, I felt a tiny spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, this was my chance to rise from the void. I stared at the envelope in my hand like it was a puzzle I couldn't solve. 14 Rosewood Lane. Midnight. A new path. My fingers trembled. Are you sure about this? My grandmother asked softly, concern knitting her brow. I have to know, I whispered. Even if it's dangerous, I can't stay like this. She nodded, silent, and I slipped out before dawn. The streets were empty, shadows stretching across the pavement as I followed the address. My heart raced, every step heavier than the last. The cafe was dim, the kind of place you almost miss if you blink. A single figure sat in the corner, face hidden beneath a hood. You're early, a low voice said as I approached. I froze. Are you Damien? I asked, clutching the envelope. He looked up, piercing eyes meeting mine. I am. You received my message. Yes, I said, voice barely audible. I don't know why, but I came. He gestured to the chair across from him. Sit. Let's be honest. Why are you here? I lost everything, I admitted, the words spilling out before I could stop them. I trusted someone and they betrayed me. I don't know who I am anymore. Damien nodded slowly. Pain like that leaves two choices. Stay broken or rebuild. You want the second, or I misread. I hesitated, fear twisting in my stomach. I want to rebuild. But I don't know how. I've never done this before. Good, he said with a faint smile. That means you're ready. Rebuilding requires guidance, discipline, and risk. You follow my instructions exactly. Can you do that? I think so, I whispered, unsure if my voice sounded convincing. Think, he raised an eyebrow. No room for thinking. Only doing. You want a new life. Yes, I said firmly, surprising myself. I want to start over. I don't care what it takes. Good. He slid a folded sheet of paper across the table. Step 1. Memorize this. Everything you do for the next month follows this plan. Miss a step and you won't just fail, you'll be exposed. Do you understand? I picked it up, hands shaking. Yes. I understand. I can do this. Fear is normal, he said. Doubt is normal. Hesitation, fatal. Trust me and trust yourself. I won't lead you astray, but you must walk the path. I can, I repeated louder this time. I will. I don't want to be weak anymore. Damien's eyes softened briefly. Strength isn't about never breaking. It's about rising when you've fallen. Remember that. I nodded, feeling a strange warmth in my chest. Hope. something I hadn't felt in weeks. What if I fail? I asked quietly. What if I'm not enough? You are enough, he said firmly. You just need to see it for yourself. I can show you the way, but you have to walk it alone. Starting now. I swallowed hard. I trust you. I'll do whatever you say. He nodded, the faintest hint of approval in his eyes. Then welcome to the first day of your new life. Nothing will be easy and you'll face pain, but by the end, you'll know yourself better than ever. I clutched the sheet of paper, my hands trembling with a mixture of fear and excitement. I'm ready. Damien leaned back, studying me like he was weighing a heavy decision. Good. Tomorrow we begin. Be prepared. Your life as you knew it is over. What comes next depends on you. I left the cafe with the paper in my pocket, my pulse racing. For the first time since Ethan's betrayal, I felt alive. A spark of hope whispered inside me, stronger than any fear. I can do this. I will do this. And somehow I knew my life would never be the same. I stared at my reflection in the mirror, hardly recognizing the girl staring back. New hair, sharper eyes, a posture that screamed confidence I didn't fully feel yet. This is me now, I whispered. Damien's voice cut through the room. Don't whisper. Say it like you mean it. I mean it, I said, though my throat felt tight. Then act like it, he said, hands on his hips. Training starts now. Lara, my supposed teammate, smirked across the room. Ready to embarrass yourself? I clenched my fists. Not today. She laughed, and I realized that rivalry would push me harder than any lecture. I'm serious, I said. Try me. Damien clapped his hands once. Enough talk. Let's begin. Today is endurance and mental focus. You two will pair up. Lara arched an eyebrow. Lucky me. We started with grueling drills. My muscles screamed, but every glance at Lara's effortless moves reminded me why I was here. How do you make it look so easy? I gasped, dropping to the floor. Experience, she said, smirking. And talent. Something you clearly lack. I swallowed my pride. Then I'll just have to work harder. Good, Damien said from the sidelines. That's the spirit. Pain is temporary. Weakness is permanent if you surrender. Hours passed in a blur of running, memorization drills, and mental puzzles. I stumbled more than once, muttering curses under my breath, but each mistake became a lesson. Lara began to nod at my improvements, small acknowledgement that pushed me further. Not bad, she said quietly after a particularly rough puzzle. You're improving. Thanks, I muttered, surprised. I guess. You guess? Confidence, remember. I straightened my back. Confidence, I repeated louder this time. By evening, exhaustion weighed me down, but Damien's eyes held that quiet intensity. Tomorrow the test begins. Be ready to face more than physical pain. I nodded, mentally preparing for whatever he had planned. On my way out, my phone buzzed. A name I hadn't expected, Ethan. My heart froze. I stared at the screen. No, I whispered, panic rising. Lara noticed. Problem. Someone from my past? I said quickly, slipping the phone back in my pocket. Don't let it distract you, she said firmly. Focus. You can't let old ghosts ruin your progress. I nodded, grateful she didn't press further. Still, the encounter reminded me how fragile my disguise could be. One wrong step, one careless glance, and my old life could catch up with me. Later, Damien spoke quietly as we gathered our things. Today was progress. You face physical limits and mental fatigue. But tomorrow, expect a challenge that will test your identity itself. I swallowed hard, a chill running down my spine. I'm ready, I whispered, though doubt lingered like a shadow in my chest. Outside, Lara jogged beside me. Hey, for what it's worth, you're not as terrible as I thought. I laughed weakly. I'll take that as a compliment. She smirked. It is. But don't get cocky. Tomorrow's going to be worse. Then I'll survive it, I said, determination rising. I couldn't afford fear. Not anymore. The sun dipped behind the horizon as I walked home, every step echoing in my mind. The shadows weren't just outside. They were inside me too, and I had to learn to navigate them. This is my life now, I thought. And I will not be found. I will not be weak. I will survive. I hadn't expected to see him. Not here. Not now. But there he was, laughing loudly in the corner of the cafe, Clara at his side, her hand draped possessively over his arm. Ethan, I muttered under my breath, gripping my coffee cup like a lifeline. You look different, Clara said, her tone dripping with fake sweetness. Who is she? Ethan tilted his head, smirking without realizing I was watching. Clara, don't worry. Just someone from the past. Past, I thought bitterly. Not for long. I sat at a nearby table pretending to read, my mind replaying every lie, every smile he gave me that wasn't meant for me. He doesn't deserve you, I muttered to myself, barely audible. And I deserve better. Clara laughed, a high, hollow sound. Oh, Ethan, you're so charming. I can't believe she ever left you. I clenched my fists, nails digging into my palms. She's going to regret it, I whispered. Ethan chuckled. You know, it's funny. I don't even think about her anymore. I stared, disbelief and anger twisting inside me. You're arrogant, I said quietly, more to myself than him. Thinking you can just erase me. Clara leaned closer. He's right. You were nothing but a chapter, now I'm the story. I took a deep breath, forcing calm over the storm inside me. Not for long, I whispered. Not for long. I left the cafe before they could notice me, but my mind raced with ideas. Subtle moves, small disruptions. I had learned enough to start tipping the scales in my favor. Every mistake he makes is a chance, I told myself. Every careless move, it's mine to exploit. Later, I watched from a distance as Ethan made a call. His tone was loud, overconfident. Trust me. I've got this under control. I bit my lip. Control. I whispered bitterly. You have no idea. Clara giggled behind him. I love how confident you are. It suits you. I clenched my fists, pacing. Too confident, I muttered. That's his weakness. And I know it. As I observed, he took an absurd risk, ignoring warnings, making a decision that could ruin him professionally. My stomach tightened with both fear and excitement. Just like that, I whispered. One careless move and he'll fall. Karma doesn't need my help, but I can speed it along. Clara leaned closer, whispering something I couldn't hear, but her expression told me everything. They were blind to the danger, wrapped up in their own arrogance. I felt a flicker of satisfaction, a dangerous smile tugging at my lips. You have no idea what's coming, I murmured. I sipped my coffee, heart hammering, trying to keep my pulse steady. Patience, I told myself. Patience is key. He's already setting himself up. And in that moment I realized how much I had changed. I wasn't the naive girl who had crumpled at betrayal. I was calculating, observant, ready to take control. Ethan laughed again, oblivious, and I felt that spark of cold satisfaction. This time I hold the advantage. And soon he'll realize it too. I left the cafe, my mind buzzing with possibilities, knowing the moment he would falter was closer than ever. Tomorrow the first real test would begin. I double-checked the details one last time before making the call. My hands shook slightly, but I forced calm. This has to work, I muttered to myself. Hello. The voice on the other end was brisk, professional. Yes, I said, forcing a polite tone. This is regarding the Johnson account. There's been a scheduling conflict. It needs to be corrected immediately. There was a pause. Wait, are you sure? Yes, I have all the updated documents. I lied smoothly, heart racing. I can forward them to you now. I hung up, barely containing a grin. Ethan would show up expecting smooth sailing, but instead, chaos was already waiting. First step done, I thought. Now to watch him squirm. Later, I sat at a cafe, pretending to work while observing him from a distance. He was charming as always, laughing at someone's joke, shaking hands like nothing had happened. My stomach twisted. You look tense, a barista commented, setting my coffee down. I'm fine, I said quickly, forcing a smile. Just thinking. No one knows, I reminded myself. They don't know I'm behind this. A client walked past, glancing at Ethan's table. He seems off today, they murmured to someone beside them. I couldn't help the small smile that crept across my face. Yes, I whispered under my breath. Off and unraveling. Clara approached him, all smiles and perfume. Everything okay, Ethan? Of course, he said, too loud, too confident. Just busy. You know how it is. I leaned back, imagining the panic rising inside him when the first meeting fell apart. Just wait, I muttered. Patience pays off. I wasn't done yet. A few discreet emails here, a little nudge there. Nothing obvious, nothing traceable to me. But enough to make his day implode. A waiter approached my table. Excuse me, miss. Are you sure you want this drink the way you ordered it? It seems unusual. Yes, I said firmly, heart hammering. Exactly as I said. I watched as Ethan's assistant flustered, unsure how to fix the minor errors I had planted. He's going to notice, I whispered, anticipation rising. Hours later, I walked past him in the lobby. His gaze flicked briefly toward me, sharp and questioning. He senses it, I realized, excitement mingling with guilt. He knows something's off. Missed a meeting today? Someone asked Ethan loudly enough for me to hear. Yes, he said, flustered. There was a miscommunication. Clara frowned. What kind of miscommunication? I stifled a laugh behind my hand. This is perfect, I thought. Every move calculated, every reaction exactly as I planned. Later, when I left the building, I spotted Ethan pacing near his car, muttering under his breath. His expression was tight, controlled, but I could see the tension in his shoulders. He doesn't know it's me, I whispered to myself. He doesn't even suspect. The thrill of it pulsed through me, mingling dangerously with guilt. I had disrupted his life without confrontation, and yet I couldn't shake the unease that came with knowing I was orchestrating it. First step complete, I whispered to myself as I walked away. And he's already crumbling. I felt power but also a strange hollow ache. This was only the beginning. And as I glanced back one last time, I knew he was starting to notice. He didn't know me yet, but soon he would. I sat on the edge of my bed, hands shaking, staring at the floor. My phone buzzed again, and I knew it was bad news before I even looked. Hello, I whispered. Sweetheart, it's Gran, my mother's voice cracked. She's in the hospital. It's serious. I froze. What? What happened? She collapsed at home. The doctors say it's... No, I whispered, tears pricking my eyes. I sank to the floor, clutching the phone. Gran, please be okay. Please. I ended the call, shaking. My chest ached, guilt and fear twisting inside me. This isn't the time for revenge, I thought, panic tightening my throat. I can't lose her too. A knock at the door made me jump. Laura stepped in, her eyes soft but concerned. I heard. Are you okay? I don't know, I admitted, voice breaking. Everything feels like it's falling apart. Now? Gran. She sat beside me, wrapping an arm around my shoulders. Hey, breathe. You're not alone. You don't have to face this alone. I wanted revenge, I whispered, tears slipping freely now. I worked so hard, and I feel guilty for even thinking about it. I should be with Gran, not plotting against him. Revenge can wait, Laura said firmly. She needs you. Right now, that's what matters. You can survive this storm. I buried my face in my hands. But if I stop, won't he win? All of this, all my work. He's not winning, she said softly. You're stronger than him. You've already proven that. But proving it doesn't have to destroy you. I nodded slowly, sniffing back tears. I just don't know if I can do this anymore. I'm torn. Part of me wants to finish what I started, and part of me just wants to run to Gran's side. Laura squeezed my hand. It's okay to be torn. It's human. You don't have to choose everything at once. I let out a shaky laugh. I feel like a coward. Weak. You're not weak, she said, her voice firm. You're human. Even Damien believes in your strength. But don't let revenge blind you. It's dangerous, and right now life is more fragile than plans. Her words echoed as I wiped my tears. I took a deep breath. You're right. Gran comes first. I'll focus on her. I can come back stronger. The door creaked open and Damien stepped in, eyes sharp as always. You've been distracted, he said. Good reason, I assume? Yes, I said quietly. Gran, she's sick. I need to be there for her. He nodded, but his expression darkened. Be careful. Ethan is starting to fight back. He's reckless, desperate. Don't underestimate him, he's dangerous now. I swallowed hard. I understand. But I can't lose myself either. I have to protect Gran and still. Control your emotions, he interrupted. Revenge isn't a race. Patience is your weapon. Focus on what matters. He'll make mistakes and you'll be ready. I nodded, though my hands were still trembling. Lara placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder. We'll face this together. You're not alone. I drew in a shaky breath. Thank you, both of you. I need to be strong. For her, and for me. Damien's eyes softened for a fraction of a second. Tomorrow the storm grows. Be ready. He's reckless now, and that makes him dangerous, for everyone, including you. I hugged Lara briefly, feeling a fragile sense of courage return. I can survive this. I have to. And yet, deep in my chest, I knew Damien was right. Ethan was no longer careless. He was dangerous, and the real storm had only just begun. I arrived at the office early, coffee in hand, eyes scanning the room. Alliances and betrayals were everywhere here. I just had to spot them before they spotted me. Good morning, Marcus greeted, leaning casually against the wall. His smirk made my skin crawl. You're early. I like to observe, I said, forcing a smile. Nothing goes unnoticed. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Ambitious. I like that. Just don't bite off more than you can chew. I tilted my head. And you? Who are you really helping? He laughed softly. Let's just say I help those who help me. Consider that a friendly warning. I narrowed my eyes. I don't need warnings. I need results. He smirked again and walked away, leaving me with a sinking feeling that he could be both an ally and a liability. Sophia approached next, her heels clicking against the floor. You look serious, she said, all sweetness. Is everything okay? Fine, I said, keeping my tone neutral. You? Oh, just checking in, she said, her smile tight. Wouldn't want you to slip up. I smiled faintly, seeing right through her. Thanks for the concern. Hours passed with whispered conversations and subtle manipulations. I gathered small pieces of information, little secrets, watching how alliances shifted with every comment. Did you hear about the Walker deal? Marcus asked later, leaning in. I could use someone like you on my side. I paused. And why should I help you? Because, he said, voice low, you're smart and I know it. But even the smart need someone with reach. I can open doors for a price. I studied him carefully. And what's your price? Loyalty. Temporary, flexible. And discretion. I nodded slowly. I'll consider it. By midday, I noticed Sophia whispering with another colleague, her body language sharp and defensive. A piece of paper slipped from her folder, unnoticed by her. Caught it, scanning quickly. Contracts, backchannel emails, all evidence that could ruin her leverage. Interesting, I muttered under my breath. Later, I confronted her quietly in the hallway. Sophia, nice try, but secrets have a way of getting out. Her face paled. I don't know what you mean. Oh, you do, I said, voice low. I know everything. And if I decide to share, it won't just affect you. It'll ripple through the whole office. She swallowed hard. You wouldn't dare. I smiled faintly. Try me. By evening, Marcus appeared again. You've been busy, he noted. Impressive work. Just surviving, I replied. And learning. Alliances shift fast. Be careful. The more power you take, the higher the stakes, he said. And remember, Ethan isn't just losing, he's fighting back. That fight, it will cost you something personal. I froze slightly, realizing the weight of his words. Something personal? Damien warned me, Marcus said casually. Sometimes victory comes with a price you don't want to pay. Be ready for it. I swallowed, thinking of Gran, my life, everything I had risked. I understand. I'll be ready. Marcus smirked. Good. Keep your friends close, your enemies closer. And remember, not everyone who smiles at you is on your side. I nodded, the gears in my mind turning. Secrets, manipulation, strategy, I had learned to navigate these shadows. But as I left the office, heart pounding, I couldn't shake the warning. Damien was right. Ethan's downfall wouldn't come easily. And soon I would discover just how much I might have to sacrifice to see it through. I didn't expect him to find out. Not yet. But the moment Ethan's sharp eyes locked onto mine across the office, I knew the game had changed. You, he said, voice low and dangerous. I know it was you. I froze, coffee halfway to my lips. I don't know what you mean, I said, forcing calm. You think I wouldn't notice the chaos? The mistakes? The disruptions? His hands clenched into fists. You were behind all of it, weren't you? My chest tightened, but I forced myself to stand tall. You made mistakes, Ethan. You left me no choice. I just exposed them. Exposed them? He laughed, a cold, bitter sound. You think this is justice? This is betrayal. Pure, calculated betrayal. It's called consequences. I shot back, heart hammering. You lied. You cheated. You destroyed trust. I'm giving you a taste of your own medicine. His jaw tightened. You think this makes you strong? You're reckless. Weak. You've just crossed a line you'll never come back from. I felt heat rise to my face, but I refused to back down. Weak? No. I've grown stronger while you've been blind to what's real. I've survived while you were too arrogant to notice. And now you see me. Clara appeared behind him, her eyes wide. Ethan, what are you doing? Nothing, he snapped, still glaring at me. She. I interrupted sharply. You mean the girl you betrayed? That girl grew up. She's not afraid anymore. You think this is over? Ethan's voice dropped to a deadly whisper. You've just started something you can't control. You think your little games will hurt me? I'll take everything from you. Everything. I swallowed hard, the words hitting like a punch. I'm not afraid of you, I said, voice trembling but firm. I've already survived you. I'm not running. And I won't let you win. You'll regret this, he spat. I promise you everything you've built. I'll tear it down. Piece by piece. I felt anger, fear, and satisfaction collide inside me. Yes, I thought. Yes, I have the power now. And I will not let him destroy me. You underestimated me once, I said, stepping closer. You made mistakes. And now you're paying for them. You lost me, Ethan. And nothing will bring me back to that weak, naive girl. His eyes flickered with something like fear before hardening again. I don't forget. And I don't forgive. You'll see what it means to cross me. I clenched my fists, trying to steady my breathing. I'm ready. I've been ready for a long time. You might think you can take everything from me, but you're wrong. You can't touch what I've rebuilt, my strength, my life, my choices. He glared at me one last time before storming away, his fury palpable. Clara followed silently, her eyes cold, calculating. I exhaled slowly, chest heaving, adrenaline surging. The confrontation was over, but the war had just begun. I did it, I whispered to myself. I stood my ground. I survived him. And now he's coming for me. Even as fear lingered in my chest, I felt a dark thrill. The line had been crossed. There was no turning back. And deep down I knew one thing for certain. The next move would be mine. The fire alarm blared, and smoke filled the hallway. I ran, heart hammering, scanning for anyone trapped inside. Is anyone there? I shouted, coughing. A weak voice answered. Help, please. I followed it to the office break room. Marcus was pinned under debris, groaning. Marcus! Hold on. I've got you, I said, sliding under the fallen beam and lifting with all my strength. You shouldn't risk, he wheezed. Stop talking. Move. I snapped, adrenaline coursing through me. With one final heave, I freed him. Get out. Now. He looked at me astonished. You saved me? I grabbed his arm. Of course. Don't thank me yet. Move. As we scrambled toward the exit, I noticed Sophia trapped near the doorway, panic etched on her face. Sophia! I yelled. She looked at me helplessly. Do it! Marcus shouted, coughing. I hesitated. Her eyes pleaded, but a flicker of cunning glinted behind them. This is my choice, I thought. I define who I am now. I can help you, but only if you cooperate, I said firmly. She nodded reluctantly, and together we pulled the debris away. The moment we stepped outside, the fire roared behind us. I gasped for air, heart pounding, feeling alive in a way I hadn't in months. Damien appeared, calm but watchful. You did well, he said. That was more than bravery. That was control under chaos. I wiped sweat and soot from my face. I had to. No one gets left behind. He nodded. That's the new you. Strong, decisive, unafraid to make hard choices. You've finally embraced it. I exhaled, feeling a strange mix of pride and exhaustion. It's terrifying. But freeing someone choosing to act, it feels like myself again. Exactly, Damien said. Now your plans can take shape. Ethan is already faltering, and your actions will push him further. But remember, every decision has consequences. I swallowed, thinking of the web I'd spun around him. I'm ready. I've learned. I won't falter now. Marcus coughed beside me. You've changed. You're not the same girl anymore. I gave him a faint smile. No, I'm not. And I never will be. Weakness doesn't define me. Fear doesn't define me. I define myself. A faint sound of sirens grew louder, but I felt no panic, only focus. Everything we planned, it works. He's already slipping. And soon, he'll see the cost of underestimating me. Sophia, still shaken, muttered. I never realized. You learned fast, I said gently. And that's why survival matters. Choices matter. Life is fragile and so is trust. Remember that. I glanced at Damien. What about Ethan? How close is he? He's teetering, Damien said. Careless, reckless, soon he'll fall entirely. Your planning has put him in a position where he can't recover. But it will require patience. And perhaps more sacrifice than you anticipate. I clenched my fists, adrenaline still coursing. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm not afraid anymore. Not of him. Not of anything. The fire's glow reflected in my eyes, and I realized I was no longer the girl who trembled at betrayal. I was reborn, forged from ashes, stronger and sharper than ever. And deep inside, a dark satisfaction simmered. Ethan was crumbling, unaware that the final blow was already set in motion. I took a deep breath, heart steady, eyes fixed ahead. The storm wasn't over, but I had emerged from it, unbroken, unshakable, unstoppable. The endgame begins now, I whispered. I watched from across the room, coffee in hand, as Ethan stumbled through another meeting. The room was stiff, the smiles forced, the whispers audible even to me. He looked around, panic flickering in his eyes. Ethan, we need clarity on the Walker project, one colleague said sharply. I'm handling it, he stammered. Yes, You've been missing deadlines, another added. Clients are upset. How do you expect us to trust you? I sipped my coffee slowly, letting the tension build. This is what happens when arrogance blinds you, I thought. Consequences don't lie. Clara approached him, concerned or perhaps calculating. Ethan, maybe we should. No, I've got it, he snapped, voice tight. I can manage. I felt a strange mix of satisfaction and pity. He wasn't evil, just careless, selfish, and incapable of seeing beyond himself. Later, a client stormed out of the office, shaking their head. I'm done. This is unacceptable, they muttered, leaving Ethan frozen in place. You okay? I asked softly, walking past him, careful to keep my distance. He turned face pale. Yes, I'm fine, he said, though his voice betrayed him. Really? I pressed gently. Because it seems like things are falling apart. It's nothing, he muttered, eyes darting. Nothing. I raised an eyebrow. You betrayed trust, ignored warnings, and lied to everyone who counted on you. Karma doesn't need my help. It works on its own. His jaw tightened, a flicker of recognition in his eyes. You think this is your doing? I smiled faintly, carefully neutral. No, just observation. Life has a way of balancing itself. Sophia appeared nearby, eyes wide as she glanced between us. Is it really over? She asked quietly. Yes, I said softly. It is. But that doesn't mean it's easy. Justice isn't always sweet. It's fair, sometimes bitter, sometimes necessary. Marcus approached with a smirk. You've grown, he said. I didn't think you'd come this far without losing yourself. I almost did, I admitted. But I realized something important. Revenge isn't about ruin. It's about awareness, control, and knowing who you are. I can't lose myself, even while correcting wrongs. He nodded, a rare seriousness in his gaze. And Ethan? Ethan's learning, I said quietly. Maybe not gracefully, maybe not quickly, but he's learning that actions have consequences. That arrogance and betrayal have a cost. Clara whispered to him, her voice trembling. I didn't realize. I know, I said softly, more to myself than them. And now we all see. Life doesn't spare anyone who disregards trust and honesty. It's not cruelty, it's balance. Ethan slumped in his chair, silent, his pride shattered. I didn't gloat. There was no triumph in cruelty. Just a quiet, deep satisfaction that justice had been served. I turned to Marcus and Sophia. We've grown through this. Learned who we can trust, who we can't, and what matters most. And you? Marcus asked. I've learned that strength isn't in revenge alone, I said, looking out the window. It's in surviving, understanding, and knowing when to act, and when to step back. Ethan stared at the floor, unable to speak. I felt no joy in his suffering, only the peace of closure. For the first time in months I exhaled fully, my chest light. The storm was over and I had survived. I had changed. And that, I realized, was the truest victory of all. I stepped onto the balcony, the evening breeze brushing my face. For the first time in months I felt the weight lift off my shoulders. Life had been hard, treacherous, and painful, but I had survived it all. Looking peaceful, Laura said, leaning against the railing beside me. I feel lighter, I admitted. I didn't think I could reach this point without carrying bitterness forever. You earned it, she said softly. You fought, you planned, and you survived. But you also didn't lose yourself. I smiled faintly, glancing at her. That was the hardest part. To act without letting revenge swallow me. To care about myself while dismantling someone else's arrogance. Marcus appeared from the doorway, coffee in hand. You look unshakable. Not many can get here and still be themselves. I've learned, I said quietly. Strength isn't just surviving. It's choosing how to survive, and knowing who deserves your trust. Damien's voice echoed from the hall. You've grown beyond anything I could have expected. But remember, life doesn't pause. Challenges will always come. The difference now is that you can meet them head-on. I nodded. I understand. And I'm ready. Sophia approached hesitantly. I just want to say thank you. You've taught me a lot. About integrity, about courage. You've learned fast, I said gently. That's what matters. Growth, not grudges. I turned my gaze inward, thinking of Ethan. Broken, regretful. A shadow of his former arrogance. I didn't feel triumph, only a quiet, reflective pity. He had lost because he had underestimated the consequences of his own choices. I wonder if he'll ever understand what he lost, I murmured. He might, Laura said softly. Or maybe he'll just be a cautionary tale. Either way, he can't reach you anymore. I smiled faintly, looking at the city lights below. No, not anymore. I'm beyond his reach now. And I've learned something important. Betrayal teaches, pain molds, and loss strengthens if you let it. Damien appeared beside me. And yet, remember, fate isn't finished with you. Life will always test you. But this time you're ready. Strong, aware, and self-respecting. I feel ready, I said, voice firm. I've rebuilt my life on my terms. I've kept the people who matter close, and I've let go of those who would harm me. That's freedom. Marcus nodded. Freedom with wisdom. That's rare. You didn't just survive, you evolved. I turned to Laura, smiling. And you were right, strength isn't only in revenge. It's in surviving, learning, and moving forward. Sophia added softly. You've inspired all of us. Not just by your victories, but by how you handled yourself along the way. I took a deep breath, letting the night air fill my lungs. I've realized something else. Life isn't fair, and it won't always be kind. But I can choose how I respond. I can decide to rise, even when everything seems lost. Laura nudged me playfully. So what's next? I smiled faintly, eyes tracing the horizon. Next is living. Fully, openly, and without fear. The past will always be part of me, but it won't define me. And who knows, tomorrow may bring new storms. But I'll face them because I know now that I can. We stood there in silence, the city alive below us. I felt peace, bittersweet and fragile, yet stronger than anything I'd felt before. Life had tested me, betrayed me, and broken me, but I had rebuilt myself from the ashes. And as the night deepened, I whispered to myself, I am beyond him, beyond the pain, and ready for whatever comes next.